Hey there, House here. Now, I will be the first to admit that this NFL season snuck up on me. As I was watching the Bills versus the Rams, it dawned on me that I hadn't made my first round predictions yet. I can assure you that I predicted the Bills to win their game before anything started. I did not anticipate that they would win by that much. Now, here are the rest of my picks. First up, we have the Lions versus the Eagles. Now, personally, I think the Eagles are a little bit overhyped based on how everybody was saying they knocked the draft out of the park, how active they were in the offseason with the acquisition of A.J. Brown, and really just putting all of this pressure on Jalen Hurts to perform based on all of the talent that he has around him. I think he will have a tendency to crumble, and with that, I think the Lions can sneak a win on here when nobody's expecting it. I'm picking the Lions. Next, we have the Bears versus the 49ers. Now, this might be a game that many aren't clamoring to watch. Trey Lance is now the guy with the 49ers, and it's his show, and he'll face up against what is expected to be a big development year for Justin Fields. Regardless, I don't see a lot of exciting action happening in this game, but I'm picking the Niners. We have the Bengals versus Steelers. Now, I see this as the start of the Bengals redemption tour. They lost in the Super Bowl, and they have it set in their mind that they're going to get right back there and win it this time around. Unfortunately for the Steelers, they're dealing with the Bengals right away. Mitch Trubisky, who was recently announced as the starting quarterback, will make his debut for the team. I believe he'll play well, just not well enough. I'm picking the Bengals. Dolphins versus Patriots. In this one, I believe Mac Jones will do enough for them to win. I also believe that Tua and Hill will take some time to connect and be more effective. I'm picking the Patriots here. Panthers versus the Browns. Panthers' new quarterback, Baker Mayfield, was the Browns' former quarterback. Who doesn't love a good old revenge game? Personally, I think Baker Mayfield is going to come out firing and destroy his former team. Buckle up, Cleveland. I'm picking the Panthers. Texans versus the Colts. Now, the Colts and their new quarterback, Matt Ryan, will do just about enough right things to win against this rebuilding Texans team. Picking the Colts. Falcons versus Saints. In this one, I'm predicting that Jameis Winston will return from injury to lead the Saints as they trounce the Falcons. I'm also predicting that it's going to be a very long season for Mariota at quarterback for the Falcons. I'm picking the Saints. Jets versus the Ravens. Remember what I said about revenge games? Joe Flacco, who was the former quarterback for the Ravens about 4 or 5 years ago, is now starting for the Jets. Now, I don't believe it'll have the same effect with him being gone from the team for that long, but who knows? Anything can happen. Either way, I'm still picking the Ravens to win. Commanders versus the Jaguars. The Commanders are under a brand new name and a brand new quarterback that I believe will do just enough to beat this Jaguars team that still has plenty of developing to do. I'm picking the Commanders. Vikings versus the Packers. Now, the Packers are without Devontae Adams as they traded him to the Raiders, so this will force Rodgers to actually spread the ball around a little bit more, attacking the weaker targets of the defense as opposed to just force-feeding Adams, who usually was defended by the best defensive back. So that should be more beneficial for this new-look Packers offense. This Vikings team, I believe, will score a lot of points, but they also won't be stopping anybody from scoring points. I'm picking the Packers here. Titans versus Giants. The Giants have a healthy Barkley, but he still isn't going to do enough to carry this offense. Speaking of health, Derrick Henry is also healthy, and he's looking to run over someone. I'm picking the Titans. Chargers versus the Raiders. Speaking of the former number one target of the Packers, the Raiders have the former college connection of Devontae Adams and Derek Carr. Now, they were pretty good together back then, so they're hoping they can regather some of that magic in the NFL. The Chargers have a high-powered offense, and I believe they'll make this game more of a shootout, but I also see them not coming out on top. I'm picking the Raiders here. Cardinals versus the Chiefs. Now, everybody believes that the Chiefs are going to have a down year because Hill isn't there anymore. But the last time I checked, they still have a guy by the name of Travis Kelce. So they're going to be fine. The Cardinals, they'll be a good team on their own right, just not right now. Once DeAndre Hopkins is back from his suspension, they're going to get a whole lot better. I'm picking the Chiefs in this one. Sunday Night Football, we have the Cowboys versus the Bucks. Now, even with all of Brady's offseason antics, he's still one of the best quarterbacks to play the position. The Cowboys, on the other hand, are a team that do not have enough offense to match with what the Bucks can do. I'm picking the Bucks here. All right, and the last matchup we have for Week 1 on Monday Night Football will be the Seahawks versus the Broncos. Man, revenge games, revenge games, revenge games. This first week of the season could not have been scripted any better. All right, so this one isn't your normal revenge game. Russell Wilson wanted out of Seattle, and they made it happen. That's pretty much end of story. With that being said, who doesn't love facing their former team? As for who I think will win, to quote Russell Wilson, Broncos country, let's ride. Well, that about covers my Week 1 predictions in the NFL. Thank you for tuning into the House Report. I know I said this on my last video, but be sure to tune in for my next video as I will still be predicting who will win each division. And lastly, for all my betting friends out there, remember, you win some and you'll lose some, but the house always wins.